Welcome back to Streamline Entertainment. Apologies from Marvin. The message to Waxfilter was from Rachel Hargreaves. But I do think, obviously, Lucy and Brad must have had a bit of a say in it, as they seem kind and close. But the actual message come from Rachel Hargreaves, who's obviously trying to stop the YouTubers talking about what was happening. Some people have asked me, who are new to the channel, basically, where do I get the information from? What I would say to that, there are private investigators who are sharing information with us, and also general investigators as well, which send YouTubers private messages to update, some from the island of Tenerife and some from the UK. Just to let you know, these are private messages which I, basically check out the information before obviously putting it out there. But these people are 100% credible, because I deal in investigations work, is my own business myself. But the people who are sending me messages, are, they're top of the top, should I say. Thank you for all the updates and messages that we've shared. Some of the messages is, one said, is Lucky skippering the Maruba, and was the marina CCTV nighttime footage actually lost Diantes Marina and not Los Cristianos, and was the Maruba in fact berthing there? The marina is only 6 km direct by the sea to the beach and El Juan Lopez ravine. That's a possibility. That's a complete possibility. Someone else said, did this person know Ayoub from Wales? Possibility. Isn't it crazy how much information is out there, and we put it all together? Someone said, great info. Do we have an idea of his real name, please? And is he trafficking rugs, should I say, from Tenerife to UK to Wales? I'm not sure about that. I can't say, because like I said, I don't even follow the guy, to be honest with you. But like I said, there does seem to be a lot of suspicion out there.
Just at Los.
So originally it was Rachel who set up the GoFund originally. I was then, I think it got to 10, and then it was after Rachel, it was then Lucy. So that tells me that I think Lucy and Rachel are quite close. I believe that, but apparently it was Rachel who set up the GoFund quickly. Someone else says, I'm just going to read messages. They could be random people, so just bear with me, because they're not always on one topic. The problem I have with this story is, why wouldn't they just bury him at the sea? Good question. Maybe they tried to, but maybe the Guardia Civil said he would be found there and it would just go down as suspicious. I think, personally. Someone says, I don't think he was killed early. I think they were holding out for the GoFundMe, and they had given a 4-week deadline. Then Debbie couldn't draw it to ransom purposes. Instead, she opted for Sigourney Cavender dogs, travel costs, altering them. They were neither going to easily get money, and they might be tracked, at which point Jay's body was found. Someone says, I believe he had just wandered off on come down from drugs, dehydrated, stumbled and fell. No, I don't believe that. Where would he get the energy? The problem with that, where would he get the energy from to actually do that? That just doesn't make sense to me. At the end of the day, I don't think he would have even got that far. Someone else said, when Jay was took on the boat, he was stripped from the clothes, badly beaten and killed. I do believe this. I do believe that. He was possibly still alive at that time as well when he was actually on the boat. And I do think there's a possibility that they threw him in the water, but they were, for some reason, there was a change of plan for that boat circling to go back, get his body, and then take him away, so they can think of what they did. Maybe the Guardia Civil turned around and said, look, you can't leave his body in the water because there will be more questions and suspicion. This is what I think. So let me read this message again, sorry. When Jay was took on the boat, he was stripped from his clothes, badly beaten, killed, then placed into the ravine via the other beach, which is closed next to him, and his phone wiped and dumped nearby. Jay went to that B&B. He was executed on that boat. Someone said Jay had two phones. So one, I believe that was actually placed by one of the people who knew him very well, as a sort of diversion into us knowing the truth, because not a lot of people, Ali said to me, who's a good friend of mine on here, said to me, Marvin, you got to be real on the boat theory. And it's only when I looked into it deeply, I believe 100% now it was used. And for weeks I thought it was just based on the car and the Airbnb, but they were just sidetracks. When the body of a dark-haired male was found in the Moroccan River, I kept searching for the information, Moroccan news web, but couldn't find anything, which I found weird. That's crazy. And that was on the 18th or 19th, people, so which was quite odd. I believe that they wasn't too, why there was so many diversions. I believe that they didn't want any tracks to Jay's body, so throwing him in the ravine made it easier that he'd lost his life, and then leaving him in the water, where people would have wanted to know about the injuries on his body. The body identified as being a young 30-year-old male from Turin. It was all over the Moroccan press. This is someone else about that message. Due to someone being found in the water in Morocco. Have the original article saved. It had been debunked ages ago. It was a taxi for Jay Slater. It would have been to get somewhere safe and to help him do a runner. That was my first thought on all of this. Interesting. He was in deep trouble, and they got him out of the European this is what I think, jurisdictions. It is a short walk down the beach, and there is graffiti and a little stony piles to guide the way down there. Wow. Isn't it amazing that people were hunting for him, were making out that there weren't too many trails to dump a body? Isn't that funny? When the body of a dark-haired male was found in Moroccan River, I kept searching for information, the Moroccan news web, but it couldn't find it, which I found weird. Sorry, that was one that I already... Someone went on to say, this is about the Tom Hilton. Revenge for the attack on Tom Hilton. Jay gave a statement implicating the others and receiving a more lenient sentence. Ayub knew Tom Hilton's dad in prison, and Ayub knew and recruited Lucy, who recruited Bad. It was a planned in great detail months before. I truly believe this was a massive part of revenge, because a lot of people around Tom Hilton thought Jay was a grass, and Jay was constantly talking, being a young lad, about what happened to Tom Hilton. And someone says for snitching, yes, and it's true. We can't always see, even what happened to Jay was terrible, and we're trying to find justice for it. We can't always see Jay in a good light at the end of the day, because he did some bad things too, even though I say his life should never have been taken away from him. Someone else went on to say, it's so strange his body was found on the area where you can get in by the beach. Police didn't search this, as they said they didn't believe it's possible Jay would be there. It's just so strange his clothes were placed at his side. That was absolutely strange. So I guess the question is how many exact days was he actually away? I would say over 25, 26 days myself before I think his body was actually placed there. And I do believe the Guardians of Seville were actually paid off into making sure that area, nobody could really access it for a little while. And it was when the football was on, people heard movement, and I think that's when his actual body was actually placed back there. And I believe some of these channels were actually paid off, I really do believe this, and some national news, to keep narrating that he walked off a cliff. Someone said, great information and vital. Think to what was going on with Jay. The times, location, etc. are too linked with Jay just for coincidence, and don't believe these are simple coincidences. Nobody in charge of a boat behaves this very strange way, unless they have something to hide. I believe that. I believe that they were actually maybe threw the body in there, and at that time he was already dead, but realised because so many people and questions were going to be asked, they could leave me in the water as a missing person, should I say. Death Think boat involved. 1:50 a.m. was time original and earliest ping screenshot, not such which CP and other keep muddling the word. By the palm tree. That would give time to get down to where the boat was before it left, docked at 8:30 a.m. All the B&B stuff distracted away from the boat, and a lot of noise was generated to make out it was impossible terrain. Only later to be revealed that he had a popular hiking trail and was very close to civilization. That's what I'm saying. If he went gallivanting, people would have said, you know, you look a mess, mate. Where you going at the end of the day? No water, raving earlier on. It didn't make sense. So what happened to Jay? It happened a lot earlier. I'm thinking about it now. Someone said after maybe 12:30 a.m. onwards. I think those times make sense. The beach, round about, after 2 a.m. I basically had a margin between maybe 2 and 4 a.m. But I'm actually now siding that this happened a lot earlier, because like I said, Ayup and that were at the B&B. Did they get back, 5:30? So to me, if this happened, this would happen to be like a 2-3 hour window, whatever happened to Jay and what they were going to do with him. All the B&B stuff distracted away from the boat, and a lot of noise was generated to make out it was impossible terrain. I've just read that, but I'm just going to go back over it again because it's important. Only later to be revealed that he had popular hiking trails and was very close to civilization, i.e. bars and restaurants with sight, regular buses in the daytime, and plenty of people knocking about at 8:30 a.m. But of course, if Jay's dead or alive, left that area at 1-2 a.m, that's why no one saw him. Wow. Justice for Jay. But I don't think he was alive at that time, or if he was being kept somewhere. Maybe the cycling of the boat was the time Jay was killed and dropped into the sea, but the planned stage of him went wrong. The media were blowing up the case and they lost control how things went, so a body was placed in the marina instead of stop investigating just one theory. That's possible. That is possible. And then taking him out of the water and putting him into the freezer. The question is, people think Brad was on that boat, Lucy was on the boat, and would you say possibly Brandon? I'm not 100% sure, but there were other people on that boat as well. Someone else went on to say, have you seen the items, Marvin, on Brad Gohen? The spelling of that is Golf Echo Oscar Golf Hotel Alpha November. Jail's real friend named Brad Tatalife Red Girl 81 by, not too sure what that said, this is crossed out. Dan's Reacts, so that's Day Guys, I think that's an ANZERACTS. We've had the full, we've had the first bit of information from Morocco. The body of a white young male found 18th of June in the Orum Rabia River was dark-haired young man aged between 18 and 22. I don't think it was the same person. I don't think it was Jay, but it is weird, with injuries to the back of his head. We don't yet have any more information until we see the report, but someone said that the guy was older and there was a report on it in Morocco. Someone said there wasn't a report, someone else said there was a report, who I believe is from Morocco. So I think I'd rather go with that one. I've also seen a bit about Rach Hargreaves, but wouldn't trust that source. Interesting. Rachel has red hair and was seen by mediums of one of the leaders in Jay's cases in a negative light. Wow. Wow. Interesting. Interesting. It's funny her name's come up a lot recently, isn't it? Someone says, I think Brad and Brandon and Davis Hargreaves and Tom Hilton was with Abe and Rocky at the Airbnb. Lucy Law was at the apartment with Jay's phone and think it was either Brad or Tom or Davis should I say, that took Jay's phone and put it near where Jay's last ping was. Yeah, I believe it. I truly believe it. I think it could have been Brad, or I could have been this Davis, or I think that, I think they all went down there. It wouldn't surprise me at the end of the day in the car and dropped the phone there. It went on to say it was Lucy Law that had the phone call. One of these three, Brad, Brandon, Tom or Davis. I think Davis Hargreaves knew Jay had died because Brad and Brandon and Tom knew 100%. And he's put that out there, R.I.P. Jay. Or maybe Davis just heard about it and put it out there. That's a possibility, that he wasn't there and heard about it, not knowing the situation, that he'd been killed, put it out there as though there was an accident or something. Maybe he was told that it was an accident, but that's a possibility. I think as well, Chris P and Luggy was paid by the higher powers to keep quiet, and has what happened to Jay and also cool. I believe a lot of people who's been coming out and tried to debunk this case knows a lot more than what's letting on, but everybody knows that now. To what they did to Jay, because of the authorities knew who killed Jay, and they asked everyone to keep quiet because it's all involved in drugs. Plus Luggy may have been dealing drugs on the boat, as well as people trafficking out of Spain as well. And the Spanish police and the Tenerife police did not annoy this to come out of the open, because people would not book holidays and there any more of teenagers here on their own. This will come out absolutely justice that I've done, and this British police investigating this case. Obviously, some of the wording's not great in the air, but it's interesting. And just obviously for the record, it's not coming from my mouth. These are actually messages, serious messages, is from people who are just putting it out there about other people which they think is involved. Nearly forgot, we have also received the 154 mileage of the Maroomba. This is interesting. Thanks again, Ali. Did a one-way from Juan de Lopez to a port in Morocco, which the Maroomba was sailing about 60k knots per hour. That equates to 9 to 10 to get from A to B. There has to be 2 visits in June and July. Las Palmas, Lanzarote and La Gomera. Sorry, go back to that again, 1 second. La Gomera, whether that there is, can't see the message, let's just blow that up again. Right. Lanzarote and La Gomera, whether that it is each way or not, we are awaiting confirmation. Hope this all helps, and we'll update you, Marvin, as soon as we have more. That's absolutely brilliant. Thank you very much. The more we've got on the boat, I think the boat is the key. Everyone thought it was the Airbnb, but the more coming out on this boat is just absolutely unbelievable. I think Jay didn't go to the Airbnb. I think it happened at the beach, saying he went to Masca knowing how far away it was. It was a distraction from the place it happened for real. He got thrown into the sea, boat picked him up, and they all said he went to Masca. No way. I believe people, right, I'm going to be honest with you, I believe he was actually thrown into the sea and they changed their minds because was it because the Guardia Civil said, look, you cannot leave that body there, you've got to move it, and it went to Morocco. This is why the Maruba turned off his homing signal and went missing for weeks on end, and it was brought back maybe in another fishing boat and placed in the sea. But the people who are involved in this case has got contacts right from the very top, right from the very bottom, and I've always said that. Don't forget to subscribe to Streamline Entertainment, and like I said, please comment on these messages, because I do think a lot of them were very, very viable in this case. Someone says, chained up on the boat, drugged up, Lucy was trying to get 30k but was unable to because she no longer had access to it. I think he was, ooh, that's interesting. Very, very interesting. I think he was going to be taken hostage in the Airbnb, but he escaped. Then when Lucy figured out his location, she told them all and they kidnapped him again. Is that where he, the second part where he was, someone was hiding, it looked like behind a big bin? Could that be when he escaped and they caught back up again? Throwing out of the boat wouldn't have looked as good as the full story. This is my point. This is why I think that boat was circling, because it actually picked his body up again and then got rid of him. And that's when I think actually Jay's life ended, on the beach, or because obviously the freezer issue at the end of the day, they had to hide him somewhere, and it's sick to say, but they could have just put him in that freezer just in case anything came on top, or body was washed up, his props had loads of injuries. I think there's two. It's so good to keep talking about it. Another theory, Jay taken from the beach. Yes, because we want to keep talking about it, because we want to get justice for this as well. Don't forget to subscribe to Streamline Entertainment. Any more news, guys? Sometimes I am on holiday still and a little bit behind what people are actually saying. But thank you for putting me right about Rachel's Heart's Grief messages. I appreciate that. Anyone who wants to leave messages on what we're talking about tonight, please do. Thank you. Bye.